Dan Rothenberg and Joe Klosik, two guys trying to figure it out. Not the right wing, not the brosphere. Left of center, with humor and empathy. Welcome!
Welcome to the Splain, everybody. My name is Dan Rothenberg.
Like Dan
And this is-
Rothenberg. And I'm Joe Klosik.
And yes, like us and subscribe
I don't know where it is.
to the Splain.
I always see the cool people.
What?
Well, they point to where the button is and, you know,
Right.
and then it shows
You
up.
know where the button is.
Yeah, you know.
Subscribe.
Come on.
And like us.
Yeah.
We're trying to figure it out.
We're trying to figure it out.
Couple of white guys.
Old.
Trying. Okay, so do you got to check in? I have something I want to talk about.
What do I got to check in about? You know, I not really. I mean, it was a pretty mellow week in a lot of ways. I will say that the thing that's been interesting is I've been putting out like these short 30-second, 1 minute long clips on TikTok, and man, oh man, when the Trump supporters find you, they just come for you, and the thing that is fascinating, it doesn't matter what social media platform you're on, all Trump trolls are the same, which is to say, petty, not creative, unoriginal, and it's like, wow, that's you really got me with that meme that you dug out, and wow, really you're not posting your own face; it's just a blank image of nothing. That really makes me think you're a human. It's just
so you're putting out your stand up. That's your sensibility.
It's I had been doing stand up, but I really feel like the TikTok is so flooded by comedians posting crowd work. So I just started posting like 30-second comments, not even jokes, just comments on stuff that's going on, and getting like 1,000 views, which is nothing in the TikTok, but it's a start. It's like, okay, I'm just throwing crap out there, seeing what sticks to the wall. And then I posted something recently, and oh my god, yeah, like they're all suddenly showing up, like, oh, we got a new lib that we got to own. And what they don't seem to understand is if you're engaging with me, that's good for me. Like that tells the algorithm, hey, I'm alive, I'm here, and that just boosts it to more people. So please come for me. Come for us.
Please come and troll me.
Please troll.
Yeah, troll us. Let's hear it. So what, how many views did you get for that?
So the one that I posted one yesterday, and it was about us, what's going on in Venezuela with, we're blowing up drug boats.
Blowing up drug boats and shooting the survivors, yeah.
And shooting the survivors, and we're seizing oil tankers now. And just commenting on that, and people are like, oh, you're so wrong, and well, Biden also seized oil tankers, and I'm not saying you're the dumbest person in the world, but if the dumbest person died, you'd be, it's just like, you're arguing against reality. You are using inaccurate quotes. It's also predictable because they cannot have a legitimate conversation or debate about reality, so they just come at you with everything else, and most of them are just, I don't even think they're people. I think it's just bots, that are programmed to like, hey, it's just ridiculous. It doesn't matter what social media platform you're on. Eventually, if you are anti-Trump, you will get noticed. And what also, like, I guess I did have something to check in about. So this is not law yet, but under Trump, under an executive order, he has now proposed a new series of rules for people entering America. They would have to give the Border Patrol and Customs Agency 5 years worth of social media and 10 years of all of their email addresses. So those would be checked before you'd be allowed to enter the country. So goodbye.
Enter or become a citizen.
Enter the country. Enter this is people where you have like we have deals in place with countries like Japan, Canada, Australia, friendly countries, and now we're saying like, hey, if you want to come in for short stays, you have to show us
Hmm.
what if you've been saying on. Oops, oh look at that. It's
Wow.
it's live fit. I'm not answering that call.
All right. Oh, it's an old school ring. Anyway, you were
Yeah.
saying?
Um, so yeah, you would have to display all of your social media for the last 5 years. And basically what it would be is if you criticize Trump, if you liked a meme
Hmm.
that was anti-Trump, if you said, yeah, that's ridiculous, or man, he's crazy, or this is not freedom of
Hmm.
speech, if you had comments like that, you would be denied entry.
Hmm. Yeah,
Which,
that's
which is like what Russia does, which is what, any
right.
dictatorship, authoritarian government does.
Yeah, that's what I used to hear about, Afghanistan and
Yeah, yeah.
religious countries.
When I went to China the very first time, right, when I was brought over there to perform for expats, the guys that brought me over, they said like, listen, don't post anti-Chinese stuff for at least the first month, or before you come
Hmm.
over. And it's like, okay, so
Because you
now
won't get in.
because you won't get in.
Wow.
Yeah, you won't get in, and it'll be held against you. It'll be harder to, yeah. So now we're doing that, and yet, land of the free, home of the brave.
Hmm. Is
To our
this
to our
law?
ally. It's not law yet. It's being proposed, but here's the thing: like a lot of Trump's executive orders, it will it'll be sued. That they will be sued, and it probably will never take effect. But you also don't know. You don't know with the
He's
Supreme Court.
always laying the groundwork.
Yeah,
Always. He's
always.
so good at that.
I mean,
At always grooming and laying the groundwork for his own interests. It's an instinct.
yeah. I mean, he's constantly testing the boundaries of what is acceptable. But if that was to pass, you kiss the tourism industry goodbye. You would no longer be able to have any kind of business meeting, where people are coming from other countries because you
Hmm.
know overwhelmingly the rest of the world, the rest of the English speaking Western democracies are against what Trump is doing. So, of course, at some point, everybody has posted a like on a
Hmm.
Facebook post that's anti Trump. Everyone is, it's like you're alienating us further from the rest of the world. And yet, you're all, oh, we're all free speech. No. But anyway, other than that,
Terrifying.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So in other words, the normal fascism,
Yeah, the normal
dictatorship. All
fascism.
right.
Yeah,
Okay. Um. So I know you're not a sports fan, right?
correct.
Okay. I want to talk about a sports event, which will eventually get into something.
Okay.
It'll lead into it. I am a big University of Michigan maize and blue fan. I don't know if does that mean anything to you? Do you know anything?
I know nothing about
Nothing.
that. Yeah.
Okay. College football. College football is it's a culture.
Oh
It's
yeah,
fun,
I know that.
and I will say this. I've come back to sports in my adult life, and I'm not a fanatic. So, for instance, I do not. I'm a Michigan fan and I'm a Detroit Lions fan, but I do not watch games that don't involve my team. Some
Yeah.
guys will sit on the couch and they'll just be clicking around all day. To me, that's the limit. I'm not going to watch
Yeah.
every football game because then I'm just um, sort of ignoring my family and wasting time. But I am my son and I are very into University of Michigan football. College football again.
It's a
It's
culture,
this
right?
it's a culture. It's a bit of a cult, but we all know it.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
love your team, you
Yeah.
defend your team,
Makes
whatever
total sense.
happens,
Yeah.
and you have an awareness. Yeah, this is for fun. This is
Yeah.
ridiculous, and
Yeah.
I'm a hypocrite. And if I were on if I were on the other side, I would be. It's nothing is reciprocal. So, University of Michigan and the Ohio State Buckeyes. That is one of the biggest rivalries in sports. Here's my point. Recently, we had a big. I don't know if you heard about this. Our head coach Sherrone Moore
Oh
You might have heard of
yeah,
that.
yeah. Okay.
Okay, so
Okay. Yeah.
that might have popped out. So he has been so this might have been Monday or Tuesday. So he is the head coach of one of the biggest football programs in the country. That means like a salary of 6 million a year, which is on the low side. 6 million a year, just a lot, and all that comes with that kind of position of wealth and power.
Mm-hmm.
He was fired by the University of Michigan for an inappropriate relationship with a staffer, someone working underneath him, a very uh, attractive young lady who he was being inappropriate with. And as it turns out, he was in a relationship with her. And then I'm not sure what the sequence of events was. She might have broken up with him, and then he might have fired her. The point is, they had both had a kind of omerta between the two. There was an investigation. They both said, no, we're not in a relationship. And for whatever reason, she decided to um,
Out
hell
him. Yeah. Yeah.
out him. And
Yeah.
bam. So in one day, he was fired. And then I guess he went to her place
As one does.
as you know. So now you're ready to scorch earth the
Yeah.
situation.
Yeah.
Went to her place, apparently grabbed a butter knife from they're very specific, a butter knife. So I'm either going to kill myself or make cinnamon toast.
I mean, it could go either way.
What are there, or
Remember
one
Mom
after
made you breakfast in bed, babe? Remember those days?
yeah,
Yeah. Maybe he was just
yeah,
trying to
remember that?
rekindle.
Well,
Yeah.
that's over.
Yeah.
um Said something to the point of, I'm going to kill you. No. Let me take that back. He said, I'm going to kill myself. My blood's on your hands. You've ruined my life. And then he left.
Yeah.
And then he got arrested. So on the same day, he's fired, detained, now sitting in a jail cell. And what I wanted to bring up, and so now all the YouTubers, podcasts are all doing their thing, just like we
Lot
do.
of commentary.
Talking, saying the same thing. But what I noticed was in situations like this, so you have a lot of college football podcasts are
Oh yeah.
usually
Yeah.
men.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
And what I noticed was you have a lot of men now that it's escalated to this,
Yeah.
sort of saying the right thing, judging him. How could he do this? This is inexcusable. This is not the Michigan standard.
Mm.
This is embarrassing and pathetic for the whole program. So now we're all kind of saying the right thing. While he's doing something that, yes, his behavior has reached a certain level, but at the same time, our culture enables this kind of behavior, right?
Is it really a Michigan scandal until someone holds up a hand and shows you like where in Michigan?
Where he,
Yeah, where it took place. Like the butter knife was up here, and then he drove to
of
her house.
course,
Like I feel
right,
like
anytime
anytime
and then
there's
he jerked off with the
yeah
whole,
yeah well probably in here.
yeah, probably right here.
Like anytime there's a Michigan story and it's someone
Uh-huh.
from Michigan, I was like, well, I lived here,
I know.
and then yeah,
I never
yeah.
did that because seriously, my sense of direction is so bad. I'm not kidding. I've never
That's
known.
that's probably
I
true. Yeah,
I'm somewhere. Yeah,
yeah,
I'm.
yeah.
I don't know where I am.
Yeah, you'd be like your
I-
sense of direction is. So I lived outside of Detroit here, and I went to school here. I'm like, Dan, you're
uh-huh.
off the hand now. You
I
got to
have no
stay in the
idea.
hand. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, but anyway, I
But
apologize.
my point is, no, so my point is, we tend to get outraged at behavior without reflecting on the fact that this is the behavior we enable, and we so that is kind of the status quo
Yeah.
up into the point where we get caught. And then as guys, we tend to make a separation. How could he do this?
Yeah.
How could this happen? So this one podcaster is saying, Sherrone Moore, I've known him a long time, and I am just blown away. I would never have guessed. He's been good to my family. He's always been really nice when we talked, and I never would have guessed it. Well, yeah, why would you have guessed it? What would be a scenario you would have guessed it? Like like now that I think about a couple of years ago, we were hanging out and I went to shake his hand, and then I looked down and his dick was in my hand. And and I shook that. Now looking
Wow.
back, yeah, I guess,
He kept asking me for butter knives when he was
yeah, I
depressed.
guess I would have guessed it.
Maybe it was that time he introduced me to that inappropriately underaged girl who was also going
Hmm.
there. I mean, let me ask you this: do you think nobody knew he was dating her?
Oh no, there were rumors,
Yeah.
and it was very like comedians we know. There were rumors, it was out there. Of course, nobody wants to know, nobody wants to talk about it.
Let me
But again,
let me ask
go
you this
ahead.
because I mean, I
Yeah.
honestly know, like I've seen the blurbs, but because it's sports related and and there's like
Hmm.
I'm looking at other stuff, I've just been blowing past it. But
Hmm.
let me ask you this: was she of consenting age, and was it
Yes.
okay? So she's of consenting age, and she's working in the same department under him.
Yes.
Okay, so he is like her immediate supervisor, and
He is the supervisor of supervisors, and she was his executive assistant and being promoted and getting
okay. Oh, so she was okay.
raises.
Okay.
A lot
Okay.
of, yeah.
So is this? I mean, and the reason why I'm asking, like, I'm not excusing any
Hmm.
bad behavior or anything, but
Hmm.
sometimes I feel like HR creates issues where maybe we should just let
Hmm.
adults be adults. Like, look, you're in a
Okay.
relationship, but
Okay.
if he's in a position to be like, look, I'm going to promote you because you're sleeping with me and we got a good thing going on here, and
Yes,
that's gonna
he
is
was in a permission
okay,
to promote her
okay.
and then I think fire her after she broke up
Well, that's totally
with
okay.
him.
I think that's totally it. Look, if
You're good
you're,
with that?
yeah, look, you're screwing up this good thing we got. You're breaking up with me, the money maker.
Yeah.
Well, then you know what? You are fired. What I
Hmm.
mean, come on, man. You don't
Is that where
fantasize
you come
about.
down on this?
I'm
Is
just
that where
saying,
you?
before we move on to a solution, let's just stay for a minute in the whole
Hmm.
thing of like, you know what? Would it be, I mean, look,
What?
I've done far worse things to ex-girlfriends, but just the idea to like fire them is like, oh my God, that is so, oh, that feels good in the moment. I'm not saying it's right.
Hmm.
I'm not saying, I'm
Hmm.
not, but babe,
Uh-huh.
I've been reviewing our relationship, and I have to let you go. I would
Hmm.
love to. You're telling me that you've never thought that?
Have I thought, well, I've never
Oh man, I'm an asshole, aren't I?
no, you're not an asshole. Of course, I'm married. I've been married for over 20 years. Of course, you get frustrated. You have your little fights, you have your little power play. Now, I'm glad you're saying this because I think the reality is a lot of guys agree with you.
And I'm kidding. By the
And
way, for the record, I am kidding.
right, you're kidding, but you're also I think you're reflecting a perspective
Am I kidding?
that's well, there you go. That's the point. Okay, so again, you and I have talked about what is it to be a good guy. So
Right.
right now, we're these guys. We're these kind of we're these guys that we know that we don't want to be. We're not the what do you call it? The brosphere.
Yeah, we're not the brosphere. We're not defending the patriarchy.
Right.
Obviously, it's a
But we're
huge
still
power
guys.
imbalance. We're still guys, but this comes.
We still want to
Is this going to come down to a power imbalance? You know what I mean? Like if it's space, you know what I mean? Like yes, it's. Uh-oh, where'd you go,
shit.
buddy?
Shit.
You pressed a button.
Oh
See,
shit. Hold
you're
on.
not supposed to be
Am I
talking.
back? Am I
You're
back?
back. You're back.
My
Woo!
bad.
I thought like for a second,
Whew.
like Michigan was stepping in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was trying to turn it up. Anyway, my bad. So yeah, like so again, to me, um the man I want to be and I want to raise my child to be and all that
Right.
is a guy
Right.
that notices, okay, I'm having this impulse and I'm having this judgment. Let's reflect on it
Yeah. Yeah.
for a second.
Ooh, I got a good counter for this, but keep going, keep going.
Okay, let's reflect on it for a second. So, for instance, again, all of these podcasters that are outraged and surprised he would do this,
Yeah,
right? Okay, so
yeah.
Sherrone Moore is, and apparently it's coming out that he was just the DM guy talking to girls all the time, right?
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Kind of in that got nonstop addictive. He just had a thing for that, which can grow very compulsive and
Yeah.
addictive to be in that energy. If we, but yeah, yeah, go
Go ahead,
ahead.
go ahead. I'm sorry, I'm sorry. Yeah,
So we're now outraged that he's gotten such status and success and he's putting it in jeopardy. But let's back it up to a guy who was playing football, whatever, 15 years ago in Oklahoma,
mm.
in that culture, in that big time football culture. And let's say, what are guys, young men, often doing? Probably kind of womanizing and probably kind of maybe seeing two girls at once and covering it up and covering it here. And what we would call 15 years ago just being men in that culture.
Yeah, yeah,
And all of that's being covered up and all of that's okay. And all of these same podcasters are probably saying,
yeah.
that ain't no big deal. Then
Especially,
it,
especially if you're a football player and you're making
right.
money for the school and you're yeah, yeah,
Hmm.
yeah,
That's my point. All of that is enabled and supported and look the other way. And they're young. And so they're out and they're having fun and they're football players and they're entitled to that. And we're all looking the other way. Then when it gets to a certain point, we're all confused and
yeah, yeah. Well, that's
outraged.
how it always is.
That's
Yeah, yeah,
that's the culture we live in. And to put it right. And so we're surprised when people display the same behavior that they have been enabled to display.
yeah,
And what I'm seeing is the conversation begins with judging him, right? We begin with and he is married with 3 kids. It's bad.
Wait, you didn't even tell me that part. Wait a
Yeah.
second. Wait. So he's been married, he's got 3 kids, and then basically what we're talking about is the side chick is
Yes.
finally gets dumped and she's scorned, and of course she's going to be like, "You know what? Yeah, I'm going to say something."
I don't know what she was. Maybe she felt she was doing the right thing, maybe. But the point is, we have this moment in time. And you can already see in 2 to 3 days the narrative changing,
Oh, it's her fault.
going from making him the victim a
Right.
little bit.
Right.
And it
Yeah.
will grow and grow and grow. Like, bro, there's this, you can see this sentiment building. Like, bro, I just want to give you a hug. Wow, that was a bad day. And she ratted you out. That's the narrative we're comfortable with.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Whereas her, she's again, what happens to the woman in this scenario with an again, in theory, he's the one that's supposed to say no. He's the one with the power, right?
Hmm.
And yes, it's consenting. Nobody is, and by the way, he gets credit for that. She was consensual. Nobody's saying it was
Right.
rape.
Right.
It's not
Right. Right.
about that.
Right.
You're her boss. You're supposed to say no.
But he
And
was
over time,
he was cheating on his wife though,
cheating on his wife.
with a
Yes.
coworker.
With a coworker he had power over.
Right. Right. So it's all
And
kinds of bad.
yes, it's always all kinds of bad. But here's where it's deceiving. Okay. There's this idea of no, it's the men that are really vulnerable. Look at the fall from grace, as we put it. And yes, he's fucked. His career is fucked. But he can rebuild his life. He really can. He has the emotional support for that.
Yeah.
There's all kinds of churches on every corner of Ann Arbor that will say, "Hey, come on in, bro." Yeah, there's churches all over
All over.
here
Yeah.
that will say, "Hey, man, it's okay. We support you. You kind of got a raw deal. You're not that bad. But her, what's going to happen to her? What happens to the
Mm,
she will I get us we don't know. What
right.
happened to the female comedians that I don't want to get all into this that Louis popped his pud in front of?
Well,
Kind
Dan,
of
here at
they just
the
sort of
Monica Lewinsky Institute, we will take young
mhm,
women in who have been victims of a power imbalance, and we will set them
mhm.
up with online jobs, and they can continue to make a good living bringing
Yeah.
powerful men down.
Right. What do you know what I mean?
I know what it is
It
very
doesn't we don't
yeah
what happens to her
yeah
career?
yeah yeah
We don't really know. It doesn't they're not the interesting narrative, and they how hard, and from what I hear they made to be feel very uncomfortable, and that it's
yeah
their
no
fault,
absolutely
and they are
absolutely yeah
victim shamed
yeah yeah
forever.
yeah. It's well, I mean, I jokingly bring up Monica Lewinsky, but
Hmm.
she, I think, for our generation at least, she is an example of like, listen, that woman was
Yeah.
the butt of so many jokes, and I
Yes.
made them,
Yes.
but she has found a way to outlive them all, and
Hmm.
she has survived and thrived. But yeah, it's a very
She's a
difficult.
speaker, right? She's
She's
a
a speaker.
speaker and
Yeah,
a
yeah. You know, it's a
yeah, and
difficult road
and by
ahead.
the way, good for her. You got to
Yeah,
make a living. She gets to make a living too.
yeah, yeah. No,
Asshole that
I
has a
get what
problem
you're
with
saying because
that.
I think a lot of times what ends up happening, um, you know, the guy gets forgiven because men are men, and when the
Hmm.
microphones are off and the cameras are off, and it's just
Yeah.
two guys in a hallway, it's you know one guy putting his arm around the other guy and just going bitches, am I right? You know,
Yeah. Yeah.
and it's yeah, you can forgive it,
Right.
but for the woman, it's like, look, she probably did fall in love. She probably did have all of the normal human feelings that any of us can have. And a lot of times it happens. You don't want it to happen. You know it's wrong, but it happens. And then we end up blaming her because you ruined a family. You ruined a career. You
Yes.
brought
And
down a powerful man.
that's
And
not
it's
fair.
not fair.
Right.
I'm with you on that. I'm with you on that.
And that's what
However,
interests me.
however,
Yes.
as
Yes.
someone who has recently been watching Bridgerton,
Mm.
which I know we talked about. It's a
I
costume
still
drama.
haven't watched it.
That's it. You would hate it. You would
The
hate it. I know.
costumes. I
It's a
hate that
costume
shit. The
drama,
costumes.
like in the
All right, hurry
1800s.
up with
Like
Bridgerton. What about it?
well, one of the things that is,
1800s.
here's the only reason why I'm bringing it up because I don't think society has evolved much in two, three
Hmm.
hundred years because a lot of the plot of
Hmm.
Bridgerton revolves around very beautiful, very intelligent women getting themselves into relationships with men who
Hmm.
are of a higher station or they cannot possibly have any kind of a relationship with because society has deemed you cannot be in a relationship with this better than you person because they're in
Hmm.
a higher stratus of society. And yet, people fall in love, and oftentimes because they have no power, the man is like, listen, if we just keep quiet, you and I can have something, even though I have to get
Hmm.
married. It's
Right.
the same situation that repeats, and then when it blows up in everyone's faces, right? It's the woman that ends up suffering because the woman
Hmm.
doesn't have the power, doesn't
Right.
have the money, doesn't have the status in society. Now,
Right.
that's changed over 300 years. A woman can be a professional and own things and be a CEO and achieve a lot more now. But I'm saying society is still going to judge the woman as, oh,
Yeah.
you're a harpy, you're a harlot, you did this, you brought this
Yeah.
powerful man down because of your selfish
Right.
wanton needs. And the guy is like, oh, you poor thing, you know, please, here's a phone, start texting these girls.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. The guy exactly right, right. The guy is getting all the negative attention, but he has the ability to come back and get redeemed redeemable,
Yeah,
positive
he'll in
attention.
5 years, this guy will be on the speaking circuit explaining
Right,
how he overcame this
right.
obstacle, and yeah, he'll be making
Where
more money.
she doesn't have what's the path back for her? There
Yeah.
is no path back. You got to hope people forget and hide.
You know what the path is, and
And think about how
it's
easy
only
it is to
fan.
make her think about how easy it is to make her uncomfortable
Oh, totally. But
and to make her. So for instance, I had a client, I won't mention the detail, I don't actually mention the
mhm.
details of clients. It's an amazing, I wish I could tell, maybe one day I'll be in a position to talk to you about the story of this client. Unbelievable. Rocked my world. Here's the
Wow.
point. She um the only thing I'll say is there was a big media storm against this client,
Mm.
and it was false. It was false. The charges were dropped.
Wow.
Okay. The charges were dropped by an authoritative body that doesn't drop charges. They got,
Wow.
80%
Yeah.
conviction rate.
Wow.
Just because
Vanished.
of her vulnerability, she got blamed and it all went away. And she couldn't go outside for months.
Yeah.
People recognize you and give you shit.
Damage done.
And that
Yep.
stuff sticks.
Yeah.
It penetrates you. Imagine if you were accused of something heinous and people were throwing that your way. You go in, you become agoraphobic, you have panic attacks.
Right.
And that's what someone's left with. There's no redemption for being the one that slept with him.
Well, I mean, again,
Whereas,
I'm saying this jokingly, but a lot of
yeah,
times what I have seen is when a woman suddenly becomes uh, social media famous because of a
uh-huh.
downfall, because of some perceived thing that she did wrong. The only place for a lot of women to go to then is OnlyFans. And then again,
Hmm.
it's like, okay, here's how I'm going to make money. Like there's been a lot of actresses who say, oh, I can't get work anymore. They go to OnlyFans. There's been a lot of
Hmm.
people who are like famous for 15 minutes, women, and they're like, I want to hold on to that. Where do they go? OnlyFans. It's
Hmm.
again, it's like this guy, this coach, he's going to end up making millions more by writing a book and telling a story and overcoming
Hmm.
it, right?
Hmm.
But what happens to the woman? She's going to be relegated to some lower class in society, and her
Yeah.
options for
Yes.
moving
That's
forward,
what happens.
yeah,
And we look at these guys and go, okay, th- bro made a mistake, man.
could happen to
Because
any of us.
because because basically when you get down to our values, it is okay to you stick your thing. It's understandable.
Yeah,
It's more, the thing is, our values dictate that it is worse to rat a guy out and tell on him than it
yeah.
is for him to actually have the inappropriate relationship. It
Snitches
was
get
his.
stitches.
Yes, that's our values in this country.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Boys will be boys. We can, and again, that's where we get into this conversation. He's not Harvey Weinstein. We can all kind of agree on that ish. That you shouldn't be Jeffrey, um, Harvey Weinstein, Jeffrey Epstein monster. We all kind of agree ish on that. But then we have all these different levels we justify. And the vision is the guy's the victim.
Right, right. Yeah, yeah.
That's
It's unfortunate. I don't. Yeah, I'm 100% with you. So let me ask you this: is there a
Mhm.
solution? Is there?
I'll tell you, there's not an easy solution, but we can start to have a more honest conversation about it.
Mm,
So again, we have a situation like this. Let's have an honest conversation about how this is the kind of behavior that is going on in sports. This is the kind of behavior that is justified in men
yeah,
in general. Talk about how
yeah,
we all like to talk about a cover up. We live in a culture of cover up. What do you do? Well, that's what an affair is. You cover it up,
yeah.
and the more powerful you get, the more pieces on the chessboard you're covering. But the values we have, the bro code of and the conversations we have with each other.
Yeah, bros before hoes.
Yeah, bros before hoes. In other words, we know how to have the conversation of, dude, you're risking everything.
Yeah.
We know how to have that one. Don't be stupid.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
How about conversations about the position someone is in if you're their boss,
Yeah.
and power
Well, it
dynamics
does make
and
you wonder, like,
consent, all of that. It's not manly to have a discussion about consent.
yeah, yeah. No, that's. I mean, I wonder, like, okay, so if you're a sports star and you're getting 6 million a year to coach this beloved football team, um,
Mhm.
you know, how much of those HR mandatory uh, sexual discrimination uh, classes do you have to take? Or is somebody like, listen, he's making us a lot of money, just initial it, he took it, let's not disturb him, he's busy. Like,
I
yeah,
think it's,
I feel like
yeah, either one.
there's other layers to like how this was allowed to happen. You know what I mean? And
Uh-huh.
I think a lot of times the bureaucracy gets also a free pass. But I gotta believe that other people knew, and everyone allowed it to
Oh,
continue.
for sure, for sure. I think
Yeah,
it's always like that. Yeah, it's always, in other words, yeah, we're all in the same hypocrisy. And University of Michigan is hedging their bets and doing what they need to do. And I guess from my point of view, I'm just kind of maybe the therapist hat or whatever. It's looking at our behavior. I see this blind spot we have. Men, as much as it seems like we've become wokey or enlightened, men still rationalize this behavior, and the objective is not to get caught. That's really where we're coming from.
I can tell you.
Don't that was so
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
as far as men get. How can you do that? How
yeah,
can
yeah, yeah,
you?
yeah, yeah, yeah. Don't be sloppy. Yeah,
Yes,
don't.
that
Yeah, and I look, I have seen it, and I've perpetrated it. I mean, I've never cheated on someone, but
mhm.
I definitely was involved in conversations where, yeah, my first, like, dude, what are you doing? You know,
Mhm.
like, come on. You know, your wife is going to get
Yeah.
upset. You know, what about your kids? And it wasn't. Yeah, my instant reaction was not like, what about her feelings? You know, what's going to happen to her?
Yeah.
I admit that. I totally admit that. You know, but I wonder also, like, you know, if there's a female version of the Splain that's out there.
Mhm.
I wonder, like, between women though, is
Mhm.
are there conversations where, you know, it's also the same, like, yeah, I totally see what you're doing, I mean, he's hot, he's got money.
Right.
You know,
What's the conversation? Yeah,
what's
that's a
I'm
good
curious
question.
what they're and not in a judging way,
Yeah.
I'm just
Right,
curious.
right.
I'm like, how, because what, she had friends, and undoubtedly they knew what was going on too, you know, and I'm just curious, like, what were they telling her? Do you know how long this went on? How long was this taking
I
place
think
for?
for a year or two.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know, look, if it's longer than a couple of months, then it's a relationship. And if it's
Yeah.
longer
Yeah.
than a couple of months, then clearly you're talking about it, you know, with at least
Mhm.
one other trusted friend.
So what would you imagine? What's your thought? When you think about how did that conversation go?
I mean, I think it could be. It probably goes both ways, right? Even if she was talking to
Mhm.
one friend, I imagine that one friend was probably like, "Hey, this is really dangerous, and you know, this goes wrong. You're the one
Mhm.
that's going to pay the price." But
Yeah.
also, I imagine that one friend was also like, "It's kind of hot and it's sort of exciting, and you got the, you know what I mean?" Like, and I can,
Mhm.
I imagine that that's happening, and I'm not. I mean, I hope that's not coming across as like me being judging of women or stereotypical of
Hey,
women.
you're splaining, whatever,
I'm
whatever.
still, but I feel like, look, when guys have come to me and talked about
Mhm.
similar situations, I feel like I have said, like, dude, you're messing up, but also it's like, yeah, it's kind of exciting. I mean, I feel like
Right.
the thing that makes affairs really attractive is the secrecy thing,
Mhm.
right? It's the, hey,
Right.
I've got something going on that nobody knows about, and it's kind of
Mhm.
cool,
But it's
and
not, yes.
You know what I mean? Like it's
Totally.
it's the secret that makes it exciting. It's not even, I think after a certain point it's not even about the person you're with. It's the idea of like, I've got this thing I can't tell anyone about, and that makes it,
Uh,
extra exciting and spicy. I mean, that's what I've learned from
right.
Bridgerton.
Okay. No, I get that. And to me, the issue isn't the affair.
Yeah.
Um, I don't, and I, even though I'm sure his family is devastated, what I want to get into, the issue is she was a staffer. She was working under him.
No, no, look,
He, and
it's a
again,
huge, for no other
when
reason.
it
It's a
comes
power imbalance.
to,
It's wrong. It's
yeah,
totally wrong.
when it
Yeah.
comes to what we're going to judge, I think sometimes it's helpful to follow the money and power. Her livelihood is now based on this. Her
Right.
future
Right.
is, it's kind of like saying when people go, well, it goes both ways. Racism, black people can be racist, everybody's racist. You know, there's racism, there's reverse racism. Who has a history of getting discriminated against in terms of money,
Right.
rights?
Right. Yeah.
That's what
It's
it's all
it's
about.
always about the power imbalance. It's
Yeah.
bigger. Yeah. No, I'm
And
100%.
the conversations men, okay, so here's some unmanly conversations that I would like to, that we should be having.
Okay.
Um, what what happened? You're her boss. What happens to her
Right.
if things go? So let's say you're Sherrone Moore and I'm your good friend,
Okay.
right?
I'm ready.
Okay, okay, Sherrone, what are you gonna do if she let's say she breaks up with you, which is her right,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
You were talking about consent. This is a relationship. What are you going to do?
Well, I'm gonna kill myself with a butter knife.
Well, okay. Exactly. Exactly. Exactly, Shiro. You know what? I've known you for a long time. You're jealous and you got issues around that. What's going to happen to her when you fly off the handle the same way you flew off the handle back when we were in Oklahoma? And no, again, nobody found out about that. Because do you
Yeah.
see my point?
Yeah.
What's
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
reality?
Well, I mean, you're asking the right question, and unfortunately, he
That
probably has never ever uh, he probably never has had to be accountable for bad choices. You know what I mean? Because there's the whole other conversation is, we enable sports stars who have talent. We enable
yes,
bad behavior.
exactly.
Just like, rock
And
musicians and movie stars. If you're famous and you have an ability that's highly prized and highly recognized, I mean, he probably was enabled his entire career, and now it's caught up with him at the height of his power. And
And by that time, when everybody's saying, "How could you do this?" You got to tamp
how,
it down now.
yeah,
You don't
I've
know
been
how to
doing.
keep it in your
Well,
pants.
exactly. It's not a question of like, how
Yeah,
could you do this? It's like, he's been doing it the whole time.
exactly. That's
Yeah.
what I'm saying. So you're asking me, what's the solution? Let's have honest conversations about behavior. And men, we don't want to do that. It's
I,
guys do not want to do that.
I'm imagining a SNL sketch where like a sports coach has to deliver the HR mandatory meeting on sexual harassment,
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
maybe that's how you get through to them. Like, okay, guys, see here, here's a woman.
Right.
She's a complete human being with her own inner life and
Real.
desires. And if she's an employee, then you have to look out for her. And that is by not taking advantage of her. And they're like, Coach, can I date her? No. Coach, can we hook
Uh
up?
huh.
No. I mean, that's the way to get across to guys from an early age. Like,
Right.
listen, if you're worried about getting taken down by a woman, don't put yourself into a situation
Uh
where
huh.
you are taking advantage of them because of the power imbalance.
I think that conversation's happening. But what you just said was, again, stay out of trouble. The cause and effect relationship. I'm talking about a conversation that says, let's take a look at what's actually wrong with that. College football is all about mentoring, uh, guiding young men. and they're talking about, and there's a lot of Christianity in it, and more you're saying, I just want to grace to God and thank you, Jesus, which annoys the hell out of
Yeah,
me.
it's so
But I'm
weird.
talking about what's wrong with this? What's the position you're putting them in?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
These
yeah,
are
yeah, yeah.
people with a lot. Okay. So let's say um, you guys have a dream. You want to go to the NFL. What would it be like for you to be put in a position where you were dating someone that had control over um,
Your career.
your future, and how
Yeah,
consensual is that? And
yeah.
maybe that's what I'm talking about.
No, I'm 100%, 100%. And
Mhm.
I think that is a difficult conversation to have for anybody.
That is not a manly conversation. That is not. We don't really have those
But
conversations.
maybe
Not
the
about the
way,
risk of it, but
right.
the ethics.
Maybe the
And
way to
I tend to
frame it
believe,
is about
yeah,
accountability, right? It's about
yeah,
accountability, and it's about, because I mean, look, a lot of the times, like the guys that I'm talking with, in early recovery, who've been previously incarcerated, or just
hmm
they've led a life that is very different from our own, and there are definitely codes, that make sense to them when you're leading a life, based on just poverty and theft and just getting your needs met. Um,
hmm
a lot of times what you hear is this phrase of, well, this is what a man does. Well, this is how a man
right,
has it, right? And what I always try to interject into that is like, okay, sure, but listen to what you're saying. A man takes care of his family. A man does the right thing. You're talking about
hmm
accountability, and maybe
hmm
reframing it with like these young male athletes, and just like, look, you have to be accountable for yourself. You have to take accountable for
hmm
your actions. And sometimes that means thinking like, listen, if there's a power imbalance, it's not ethical. I cannot proceed.
yeah. I tend to think I could be wrong. I tend to think people's behavior is guided on what's right and what's ethical and what's within their values, and but there's a lot of opportunity to deflect from that and to rationalize. But coaches, people with power, and I'm sure Sherrone Moore couldn't have done a great job of this because of his behavior.
Yeah, yeah,
um but we do have the ability and the power to guide young people. And for the most part, young men, especially in a sports culture, are guided to, it's often kind of a false accountability, or a wink and a nod, or looking the other way,
right,
or
right, yeah,
again
yeah.
saying you got to protect yourself is different than saying this is wrong.
Yeah,
fundamentally
but
fundamentally
that
if you're
also,
the
right,
Duke lacrosse team
right.
and you hire a stripper to come into your frat house, that is wrong. That is you think of the position. I know it's just a, you're young, boys will be boys, and this is just kind of a, what do you call it? It's transactional, but you should be better than that. That is a sketchy, difficult position, and you're in charge of it.
Right, right.
You're initiating it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know when that process begins, sooner rather than later, obviously. But I also
hmm
think, like, yeah, look, I'm not deflecting blame from him personally, but I know and I remember, the little bit of high school I actually showed up for, you know, the
hmm
the the football player who was the star was not expected to show up to take the final because they were already gonna,
Wow.
yeah, they were gonna already get whatever passing grade they needed so they could continue to play, right?
Wow. I don't remember that.
Well,
Wow.
that's, I
Yeah.
mean, that's, yeah, I mean, and I'm
Yeah.
sure that that's not uncommon in a lot of places. Like, again, it starts with the system, and the system
It
is
does.
sending
It
that
really
message.
does.
They're
You can
sending
do
the
what you
message like,
want.
you can do what you want because you're putting butts in the seats, you're making us money, people are
Yeah.
coming to see
And
you.
that goes, young people are, prefrontal cortex is forming, and that's what they learn.
Hmm.
I am entitled to the the pleasure that I
Also,
seek,
yeah, yeah, and I think
and
making
you should all know that. You should all know that if you're going to get involved with me.
I think making a high school football team sit down and watch season one of Bridgerton, I think
Okay.
would help.
All right. Wow. You really, what is with you in this show?
I don't mean to keep pushing it, but it's actually.
Okay, Bridgerton. I'll tell you what. I'll watch an episode of Bridgerton. You watch The Wrestler.
Oh, that's right. That
You
was what I
got to
cited.
watch that. I'm telling you.
Okay, okay.
If you watch that,
Fuck the wrestler. Okay,
oh, you
I'll
gotta.
watch
You'll
it.
feel good about your life.
Oh my god. Okay. All right.
As will I.
Okay.
You'll realize I got a solid comedy career.
Okay.
I'm doing all right.
All right. You watch one episode of the Bridgerton. I will
Okay.
watch the wrestler, and next week we will report back.
Okay. And to sum up, I feel like I've been saying a lot. To sum up, if we're going to be all outraged about someone's behavior, and one more thing I want to add with my therapist hat on,
Okay.
because another response to this is a lot of when we're getting all this information that he was maybe DMing girls during games.
It's crazy.
And have you ever met someone who just really dove into that?
Oh yeah,
Dating,
yeah.
DMing,
Oh my
hooking up.
god.
It's
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
this
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
whirlwind of
Yeah.
dopamine
Yeah.
energy.
Yeah.
One thing to know when people ask how could he do that, when we're engaging in either addictive or reckless behavior, inhibition goes down.
Yeah.
It's very normal. I've seen that in a
Yeah.
lot of people. It's
Yeah.
kind of like when we were in the height of drinking, people are like, dude, your life's insane. Like, no, I'm just solving problems here.
Putting out fires.
I mean,
Yeah, that you're
yeah,
setting.
th-
Yeah.
whatever,
Yeah.
one step at a time.
Well, I
It's
have seen that. Yes.
it's very normal.
Yeah.
The inhibition goes down, and that is just the kind of life you're leading. One of my favorite stories from AA, from an anonymous program we both have gone to, is this. This was way back when I went to in High Noon in San Francisco,
Oh my God, you're dropping
back in those
actual
days.
names of pro. Okay,
Sorry, yeah,
that's all
whatever.
right, buddy. That's okay.
It was a lifetime ago. This really cool woman used to talk about how when she would drive drunk, she would take her hair and trap it. She would roll the window up and trap her hair. So if she nodded off,
Oh my
she
God.
would come back.
Oh my God.
And
Genius.
again, genius. That's the addicts. We know, yeah,
Yeah.
great solution.
Great idea. Yeah.
Other people might say you might want to quit drinking then.
No.
No, why would I quit drinking? I
Yeah.
solved the problem.
Yeah.
When you're in that kind of behavior, you just you're living a crazy life. That's the way it goes. And if we're going to have a society that enables this behavior, we're going to have people with compulsions and addictions and reckless behavior gone amok. That is what. So to sum up, what's the solution to this? Let's have an honest talk about our values surrounding this behavior as we're in the process of rationalizing it and enabling it, and covering each other's asses, and not ratting each other out, and not having honest conversations as friends or as we're mentoring
Yeah.
young men.
And
Okay.
maybe tell young men, like, you know what? Maybe wrap this around the problem. And,
Exactly.
and you won't, just,
Amen.
just
Right.
get it out
When
of your system.
you're here,
Yeah.
you're here at the university and our apartments here.
Yeah.
Don't travel here.
No,
travel right.
Just stop right
here.
here, rub it
And
out,
just
and then go.
rub it
okay,
out, baby.
Okay, that's all right.
All right.
Everyone's
Now, let's take a moment. Let's take a beat. All right. We'll see you next time on
We'll
the
see you
Splain.
next time. Like and
Very
subscribe.
nice. Like and subscribe.